Bam, we're live.
Bam. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, obviously, it's a Proof Points.
We're drinking bourbon live.
We're drinking bourbon live.
Yeah, so we've got a couple people here already. Shredword. Is that Shredword? Yeah, says, well, I'm ready. Well, we're ready too. Ready to drink some bourbon.
Absolutely.
Jonathan Rowe is in. So, well, we let some people kind of
give people
get
a
into
couple
the
minutes.
thing here.
We'll explain it in a minute.
Yeah. So we have I think if you're new here, because
grab that bottle.
You're going to do a little control bourbon pour.
Pre-bourbon.
Sometimes it's good to prep the palate with a bourbon already. So
ancient age.
So we're going to do this like we do all of our live streams when we're doing a Proof Point. Kind of treat it like a normal episode. So for those of you that are watching the rebroadcast or watching the on-demand version of this.
On-demand version.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll seem like a normal video.
Yep.
But we do have a live audience, filmed it's in front of a live studio audience.
Well, provided anyone shows up.
Well,
a couple people have
we've got a couple so far.
Yeah. So what we'll do is while we're doing this, we'll check the chats.
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
But then once we get done, and we'll kind of rush through these sort of, then we'll just hang out and then we'll talk and answer any questions about Ben or anything like that.
Sure. Ask me anything. So that's good. That sucks for the rebroadcast people because they don't get to ask, in the comments. Comment, subscribe.
You'll just have to envision what they would have asked you and answer that.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So what we do, if you're new to Proof Points, we take a few bourbons of similar or the same proof point. These vary by one or two.
So we hit 80, 86, 90. Now we're in the mid 90s and we decided to open it up a tad. So we're going to have 92 to 95?
I think they're all, Blanton's is 93. This one here 95. Is 95. We got 94, 94, 94, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do with these. And we have mixed them up. So we're not going to know what we're drinking while we're drinking it. We're also probably not going to be drinking the same thing at the same time.
That's another one. So let's assume I get the Old Forester note on this first one. He may not because he hasn't got to the glass that has Old Forester in it.
Yep. And that's just so we don't want to drink the same thing at the same time. So I mixed Greg's glasses up. He mixed mine up.
Yep.
And so.
And there is no winner, but we're each going to pick a winner.
Well, yeah. Well, what we've done is we've picked winners from all the other ones. And then we were going to at some point take maybe 80 through 90. And pit the winners against each other.
I think so, yeah.
And then so once we're past this one, which I'm excited about because there's not a bad bourbon on here.
Not at all.
I mean, there is a very overhyped bourbon on here, but not a bad bourbon. So yeah, I'm excited to do this, but then we get the 100 proof points, and that's where we really start.
Yeah, I think at this point we stop, and then we do the winner of the 80, the 86, the 90, and the mid 90s.
We could do that.
That's 4. And then then we'll see if whoever the mid 90s they should win. If you're a proof snob, but maybe not.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, that Basil Hayden could punch that Blanton's.
If we do that and Basil Hayden wins for me, I'm quitting the channel. There's just no reason for me to continue doing this.
No, I mean, you finally found your calling in life. It's just not the calling you expected.
Is that what it is?
Are you going to make the Christmas decoration joke, or are you waiting?
What do you mean?
You finally put Christmas lights on the bar.
Yeah, it's our Christmas live stream, kind of. So you have to decorate a little bit, get into the festive, mood for the holidays. Shredward says, kick ass Blanton's for the win. Haha. Well, hey, who knows?
Who knows?
If you saw the blind flight video I did for Greg, it was 3 Evan Williams products and a Blanton's, and Blanton's came in dead last. So we'll see.
It did. Yeah.
I agree on the overhype. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to drink through 100 bourbons like Fred Minnick did yesterday? That was insane.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a great. Don't threaten me with a good time.
I think my limit's about this many.
Yeah.
we did 2 of these flights in one day for the 90 proof. We did one flight of 4, then another flight of 4, half hour later or something like that, and that was too much.
No, yeah, I think we did and then we did another flight
and then we did the winner.
Yeah,
maybe that was the bottled bond one.
It was the bottled bond one. Yeah.
So that was 3 flights of 4, and that was. I mean, it was not a school night, and we're responsible. I literally live straight across the street, and so I stumbled home, but that was too much.
And the other thing is that it kind of your taste buds just get a little numb after that much, and it's really not fair to whatever you're drinking after that.
Yep.
Let's see. Proud Union Soldier says elves are majestic creatures. I couldn't agree more, and I'm wondering if maybe he just had 100 bourbons. That's a great comment.
They're majestic.
Yeah. I mean,
Is there some context?
I don't know, but
who said they weren't?
yeah, he's right. So anyway, all right, let's get rocking
All
here.
right.
Fred Minnick spits each taste probably half-ounce pours. That's the other thing. Like, you got to spit the bourbon out, and I don't know if you're really fully experiencing it without experiencing the finish.
Because, well, not to get gross, but we talk a lot about building flavors, and it seems like the flavor kind of comes back up your throat and hits your tongue again.
Yeah.
So I think that could be
the finish when it kind of there's that wave of flavor. So yeah, we should try that where we sip a bourbon and then spit it out.
Well, we've got a bottle of George Dickel over there.
For the first, that was actually pretty good.
It was actually pretty good.
Could have used that one that you drain poured. See, this way you never drain pour a bottle, because when we have to do something stupid with a bottle of bourbon, we don't want to waste a good one.
Yeah,
so
you're right. I made a mistake.
All right, let's get into these. We've got water here. So for the people that just joined, proof points, mid-90s proof. We're going to compare these. They're all mixed up independently, so we don't know what we're drinking.
And so what we're looking for is I'm going to go, obviously, one at a time and nose and then taste them. And I'm going to pick my 5th place, 4th place, 3rd place, and then we'll do a reveal. Then we'll get back into the comments and kind of catch up with the viewers.
Yep. And again, not a bad bourbon on here,
We found that when you let bourbon sit out for, it's probably been 15 minutes that these have been sitting here.
Let them air out a little bit.
Air out, mix it up a bit.
Wow, I got to tell you, right on the snivs here, I'm not.
Sometimes the first one like blows it out of the water, and then you're done. Like, that was an aggressive bourbon.
Well, then I think you gotta get to tasting them too. Okay. Because there's 2 that I'm looking for here to be the standouts. All right. I know where we're. All right. I'm going to sniv these back down the line here.
All right. I'm going for it. We try to go through this part kind of quick.
99 Perspectives is in the chat.
Dude.
She said, "Oh, I see. It's your Christmas special with the lights." She gets it.
Thanks for, yeah.
She appreciates my festive decorations. Every channel has to have a...
But they're not too bright, are they?
No.
I'm talking about us.
Oh, yeah. Well, in that case. Boy, this is going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Boom. Are you getting to drinking already? OG Brick 420's in the house. All right, let's go in for the first taste.
What is that?
It's one of these 5.
Yeah, thank you.
You had a 20% chance of getting it right.
Not me. So you're saying there's a chance. What was that? I honestly, it's got a flavor note. I think I know what it is. And
I'm doing water in between all of these.
Chicken.
Got to make it fair. Yeah, I don't think we'll be back. We won't be doing a live stream before now in Christmas. So
you never know.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we got some days off coming up here. Maybe we'll get into drinking bourbon.
Yeah,
and
totally.
You know
And
what?
Christmas,
let's get live.
Is Christmas Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday. I think Saturday is Christmas Eve.
Yeah, but I don't work Monday.
This really, I'm gonna struggle with this one. That's what she said. Once I break the seal on that, it's just gonna be coming out all night. That's what she said. Just can't stop. That's what she said. Okay. Only bourbon related stuff now. Let's see. OG Brick 420 says sipping some Maker's Mark Private Select. That's awesome.
Dude, like,
oh, hey, look, Luis Wells is in the chat.
Dude, Mr. Wells, thank you so much for the support.
Yes, brand new Patreon subscriber. So the next couple videos are already edited because we want to get them done before Christmas because of busyness. But we'll get your name added to the Patreon supporter thing for after the holidays, the next videos that come out after that, after the next 2. So thank you very much for your support. Appreciate it. And if any of you would like to check out the Patreon, on one of these videos, you can see me trashing Texas bourbon on a cruise ship.
Always a good time.
Provided you posted it.
You did? Posted it, but I didn't watch it.
So at least I know the couple views that it got was actually Patreon.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, I know Bobby was making comments on there. So, so I think I know.
Oh, what the hell was that one?
Yeah, I've got one that's a wild card.
Yeah, I moved that forward because that's a standout that's a runner-up for bottom.
Best bottle, or okay.
No,
That's funny. I
place.
push them away too when I think they're not so great.
Arm's length. Get the hell out of here.
Yep, I'm doing the same thing.
Let's see. Shredword says about to start off tonight light with some Hancock's Reserve. 88 proof, or maybe move on to the Remus 6. We haven't seen the Remus 6. I've had Hancock Reserve once. That's a mash bill 3 or mash bill 2. I'm sorry.
Those 3 and 4,
3, 4, and then there's a little bit of 5.
Oh, that's right. You had 5.
Just a tiny bit. That was the sample from JT.
So 6 is the one that we were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
This one's
But made the chest move.
Would anybody like to try some special bourbon? It's all right. Let's go back to 4. I think 4 is going to win it.
You think so? You're calling it?
I've got 2 that are good. One's mediocre and 2 are bad.
I'm really interested in these first 2.
Bad is relative. I mean,
there's not a bad whiskey.
I don't hate any of them, but there are 2 that definitely have a little bit of an off-putting.
But sometimes it can be interesting when you take something you really like and then you drink it right next to something else. Sometimes it skyrockets the flavor profile, makes it even better, and sometimes it cuts it down a little bit.
So I will admit, I just had a steak and cheesy potatoes.
Did you have a real steak, or did you have like a leather shoe? Don't you like cook everything to?
Well, thankfully I didn't cook it, but it was probably medium. Yeah, I don't like raw meat, I will admit.
Can't stop, won't stop. That's what she said. I'm just gonna ruin this live stream.
Keep the streak alive.
Yeah. Why stop now, right?
Yeah.
All right. I like this. This is an outlier. Oh, we got another complaint about our music.
So I saw that complaint about the music, and I listened to the video, and I felt the music was appropriate, meaning it was not louder than us talking.
No.
And I wonder, is it like maybe he has a weird sound, like he's watching on a TV with the sound all set up weird?
I've noticed that it depends on the device you listen to it on. Headphones? Sometimes the music sticks out a little more. Sometimes, honestly, listening to it on just my phone, sometimes the music is a little louder than it sounds with.
So I watch a lot of other people's YouTube stuff of all different types of genres. And some people really do overdrive the music and drown out their audio or their voice.
I think what it is people just hate the music. Like some people.
And maybe, I have a whole bunch of whatever they're called, the free to play, where YouTube won't, kill our channel for playing type of music. So I've got this big catalog of music. And they're all similar-ish, it's just, gentle background type guitar or piano or like building that
is freaking weird.
Yeah.
It tastes like dust compared to these other ones.
Dust.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
But I had to say it while I was still thinking about it.
So I realize there's not a ton of people in here in the video, but how do you presumably if you're watching this live, you've seen some of our other videos. Do you think we should have the same background music for every video, or should we vary it?
Oh, let's do the same because that's less work for me.
Drag, drop, done.
Well, right, but I got to create a music file, and that can take minutes.
Wow.
We used to get complaints about our music at the beginning of the channel. I think this was a return person because they came in and said, "So you're still using that same annoying, repetitive music?" I said, "Yes, we are," but we did turn it down.
I think it's the same guy who complained before.
No, there was a couple different people besides this one. Yeah.
Well, all right, let's focus. We have to do the.
Let's check some comments here real quick.
3 bad.
right, this one's getting back in my better graces. So, where did I leave off here? Wait, was that going to be a That's What She Said
This
again?
is going to be a Michael Scott reference, but that's your thing.
My next purchase is Redbreast 12. I just saw some of that the other day. Trying to keep
Isn't
it
that
under
illegal?
100 on a weeknight. Yeah, that can be a good idea. If you're going to hit a cast strength banger on a weeknight, I usually like to get a little pour of
Well,
that.
yeah, they're baby pours. But
Well, for these, they're a little,
Yeah.
we'll have a good solid pour of bourbon by the time this is over. OG Brick says, I have enough bourbon now. Whew. OG Brick, who would ever say such a thing? I have enough bourbon. What?
So I pretended to do the math. So I have let's say 125 bottles. How long does a bottle last? If you were to just have a bottle, a month? Is that
It depends. I was just saying, so this Elijah Craig, I didn't open up that long ago.
Mhm.
Over the course of the weekend, I had maybe 2 pours on Friday, and they're, in a rocks glass, neat. So 2 that's, and then maybe I think I had one at maybe halftime of the Vikings game, and one later on because it was a Saturday game.
Mhm.
I had maybe one at halftime or something like that, and then one maybe later on that evening. 4 pours over the course of the Friday and Saturday, but it was they were probably 3-ounce pours. It's a home pour, so it was probably 12 ounces of bourbon, which is going to make your bottle look. I was telling Greg before we started this, is man, I just feel like you ever come down to your bourbon collection and you look at it who the hell drank all of this bourbon? And you start doing inventory and you're like, oh yeah, that was me.
Well, the point I was making is, okay, let's say you have 125 bottles.
Mm-hmm.
If you did a bottle a month, that's 10 years, right? Is my math even remotely close to?
I have no idea.
Well, so 12 bottles a year.
Okay.
So 10 years is 120 bottles.
Yep.
So I don't know what you have, but let's say you had 125 bottles.
It's about that, yeah, probably.
That's 10 years of bourbon if you bought 0 more.
Yeah, but some of these I buy and I don't drink them because they suck. We buy them for the channel.
I know.
The other thing is that, it's not going to last a month.
Yeah.
Reasonably, you have a friend over or something like that. It's not that difficult to kill a bottle of bourbon in the course of a weekend. Is it? I don't. Is it just me?
Yeah, I think it's just you. Although I bounce between bourbons a lot. I wouldn't start a bottle and kill it within the same 6 months. Ever.
No, that's the thing. I mean, I take a handful of bottles that I kind of stick to. Some of these bottles I've had for a very long time. And the reason is if they're rare, I go to them when I have a friend over or something like that. That's what I use those for. But the other thing is I've got enough open bottles of other stuff that, I don't always need to keep going back. Let's check into some comments real quick.
Admittedly, I do buy the 175 of Maker's Mark and maybe Evan Williams Bottled and Bond.
Sure.
And then I'll do mixed drinks with those pretty regularly and kind of cycle through
for sure.
those.
Kind of the go-to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Jonathan Rose says, fun fact, did you know that the Avon Barrel Mill makes barrels for Garrison? I did not know that. I didn't even know there was a barrel mill in Avon. I'm assuming you're talking about Avon, Minnesota?
Oh, I was thinking of a different Avon.
Redbreast
the cosmetic company. I didn't know they made barrels.
Yeah. Shredward says Redbreast 12 is fantastic, especially the cast strength. I just saw the Whiskey Nerd Matt do that.
Is that
a review of that?
What region of Scotland is that?
No, it's a Redbreast. It's Irish.
Oh, Irish.
Yep.
Well, then you say it's Ireland. It's not Scotland.
Did I say what?
I said Scotland.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was thinking maybe it was
for a second there.
That's right.
I can't get the cast too easily, but if I will, I can find it. Yeah, I would definitely like to try that for sure. Right now, it's just the standard that's on the shelf, $60, I think. For the 12-year, yeah. I just saw one of those the other day, and I think that's about what it was. Let's see. We got a bunch of comments here. All right, let's see. We got to catch up.
Okay.
Louise Wells says 50% ABV is my sweet spot. I tend to look for the Bottled and Bond. I love Old Granddad B.
Totally agree.
Old Granddad Bottled and Bond is a fantastic. I was actually going to pick one of those up the other day.
If
just
you
for
like cinnamon forward,
yeah,
and Bottled and Bond, well, I'm not
super underrated.
Not in love with more government in my whiskey. I think the 100 proof 4-year is a great starting point for a whiskey.
I'm battling it out between these two, and I'm starting to run out of this one.
Well, you can't pour any more.
Yeah, I know. All right. Are we going to do the thing where we try to guess which is which?
Yes, and I have no idea, so I'm not guessing. I have an idea what that one is, and I have an idea what this one is.
Let's see. It's great for the price, around 55 in my area. Cast strength is around 80. It's worth a try, but the standard 12 is just a classic. Yeah, that's kind of like one of the more beloved Irish whiskeys. Let's see.
Didn't we do one of those, or do you have one that we haven't opened yet?
A Redbreast 12?
What was the Redbreast that we did?
We didn't do a Redbreast. We did the Sexton.
No, there was also another one.
Another Irish one?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had the what's it called? Did we ever do that one? I don't know. This is just compelling live.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, Redlocks.
Redlocks.
That's
that was
what we
it.
did.
Yeah.
We're trying. Oh, he's talking to Louise. Ever try Henry McKenna? Advent calendar just happened to have Weller 12, a decent 90 proofer. I know it's allocated, but it's not my favorite. Yeah, Stephen, we just did
a review.
Did a review of that. Yeah, Greg got a bottle of that for his birthday from his wife.
Yes, thank you, Leah. She says I didn't thank her enough in that video.
Oh, Sir Cuts is in the house. He said, I'm only 14 minutes late, but the bar is already full. Cheers. Cheers, brother.
Mid-90 proofers, Sir Cuts.
And then Shredward says, I've had some bourbon on the shelf for over 3 years. I blow through making mixed drinks. I like Wild Turkey 101. Cannot agree more with that. I love Wild Turkey 101.
Oh,
and I have that too. I've got bourbons that have been there for a couple years because they're just slowly making their way down. But you want to save those special ones for, like I said, I want to save those for
you can't buy it again.
Bourbon. Yeah.
And it's not that you're afraid to open it or drink it. It's just, it's special. And once it's gone, it's gone,
Yeah. All right. I think I've got mine.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea about the bottom three. I can guess the top two.
I think this is what I'm doing. Now, I'm going to go in my order through them and just taste through them again real quick.
I'm running low on the bottom three.
But yeah, I've always said that I like to save my allocated stuff. Like every once in a while just have myself a pour on a nice night to just, treat myself to a nice whiskey. But I like doing that even more. Like if you have a friend over, likes bourbon, has heard of that bottle but's never had it because it's allocated and you can't get a hold of it, and it's $50 a pour at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like, saving the rare bottles that I've been lucky enough to get. Save them for that. I'm going backwards now from my least favorite to my favorite.
Boy, these two are tough.
For those of you just joining us, the That's What She Said's have been flying. I don't know what it is about this one, but it's hitting different tonight. I'm going to be very disappointed if this is Elijah Craig.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I have one that I also agree is just not in my wheelhouse tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
it's not bad.
Yeah,
but
not
just
horrible.
Comparatively, it's
and I'm worried it's this one because I've not had this in over a year. But that's not the flavor profile I think I'm getting from it.
Yeah, I mean, I like all these. I wouldn't turn down a pour of any of them.
Sure.
So when I say like this one's just not hitting, I mean it's just not hitting against the other ones that are available.
Because this one, whatever it is freaking amazing.
By the way, that's our next shirt. We've got snivs. We need a freaking amazing shirt.
Do I say that?
Yes. You
really?
Do. Oh yeah, that's like your thing.
It's my thing.
Did you not know that?
I didn't know I had a thing.
Yeah, you say freaking amazing. Like when you really get excited about something.
Well, that's freaking amazing.
Yeah, I know. I think it should be on a shirt.
Oh.
But how do we incorporate the bourbon note logo? We could just put the logo on there, I suppose. Because there's no O in it to creatively replace it or whatever. Anyway, I digress here. Let's see. Sir Cut says I started at a straight 90 with Lost Monarch. I'm gonna need to catch up.
Are you a big fan of royalty or butterflies?
Both. Lost Monarch I've had once.
Never heard of it.
It's a Redwood Empire. It's a Rye, so it's bourbon rye blend.
Thank you for breaking that down.
Yeah. Well, for you, and if somebody doesn't know what I'm talking about, I did not like it that much. Like it's not I wouldn't turn down a pour of it. It's not a drain pour or anything like that. But I had heard about that on the Bourbon Junkies. Dan like super loves that bourbon. So I was like,
Wow.
okay, well,
And you saw it at a local store?
yeah, it's not an uncommon bourbon.
Okay.
You'd recognize it if you saw the bottle, probably.
Could be.
But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it. Like none of us that tried it. I bought it for Dan for his birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
And I brought it over and I was like, yeah, I've always wanted to try this. So I figured I'd buy it for you for your birthday. Because if it sucks, then I'll know not to get it for myself. And lo and behold, is the logo not freaking amazing? Yes, it is. It's freaking amazing.
I'm starting to get an idea for a t-shirt.
It will be there tomorrow. Oh, damn it.
Yeah. The annoying thing is when you pick an order and you go through one more time and you're thinking, oh, well, now that time it was different.
Okay.
I really have no idea. I'm guessing I know the top two, but I could be absolutely, totally wrong.
Oh, Sean's in the house. Whiskey Wars. If you're watching this channel and you don't know who Whiskey Wars is, it's Sean, and it's a great channel. So go like, comment, and subscribe to Whiskey Wars.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've had a few more people just join. So if you haven't seen Proof Points before, it's a show we do every,
Occasionally.
a series that we do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where we'll go through bourbons of a similar proof point, do them blind, pick our favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm 2 for 2 on guessing every one of them.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Well, I'm like 0 for 2. Like
no,
I'm
you got them. I
horrible.
think the first time you got them, and I think the one time you just had 2 that were switched.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're still pretty good. I'd say you're batting over 1,000 or over 500 for sure.
Well, today
because you got half of it right, and then most of the next one. So this one, I don't know what
I think the bottom 3. I'm absolutely guessing. I have one possible guess on number 4.
So okay, let's do this. Are you ready to?
Yeah,
you
sure.
have yours in order.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do the big reveal here in a second.
Like,
let's see. Okay, they're talking amongst themselves. That's awesome.
which is cool.
What? Stephen John says standard Lost Monarch is pretty good. I have a bottle of the cask strength Lost Monarch. I've never even seen that. I'd be interested in that. Interested to see how they compare. Yeah, for sure. Luis Wells, I cannot get Blanton's in my area. Well, don't feel alone because nobody can get Blanton's in their area at all.
Well, if you fly internationally, you can see it at every single airport. You just have to pay way too much money for it.
Which I will be doing in March.
You're going on another vacation?
Yeah. I can't stay here for too long of, intervals. I realize I've become too much of a bourbon hound when there was one trip that we were looking at that we didn't end up doing, but because the flights were terrible, and it was like a 13-hour trip to get to Costa Rica. And it involved a 5.5-hour layover in Toronto on both flights, there and back. And I was like, I don't want to, let's just go to there some other time. Like, I don't want to do a 5.5-hour layover, especially on the way home.
Definitely.
But then I started thinking,
I'll be international.
That's another country's duty free I can check out. So I could do the duty free in Minneapolis because I'm leaving the country. Then I could check out the duty free in Canada. And then on the way home, hit the duty free in Costa Rica, and then hit the duty free in Canada again. That's immediately where my brain went.
That's,
all right,
that's good thinking.
I've gone pretty deep into this.
Yeah,
that's what he said. Okay, let's get into this. I'm gonna call out some comments here first, real quick. And what do you do?
I was gonna let you look at the bottom of.
Oh, well, let's get some comments here, and then we'll get into the big reveal.
Okay.
Can't get plans in my area. Whiskey Wars says, for me, I am fairly certain 46 would win this blind. I am fairly certain I know where the 46 is in this. This is the one, and this one probably too, that stick out the most to me flavor profile-wise. I was having a little harder time finding the Old Forester, but I have a feeling I think it might win this one. Because the one that I like the best, I mean, I can't guarantee it's the Old Forester, but Old Foresters tend to, or Brown Foreman, Old Forester, early times
Yes.
tend to win blind flights for me.
Yes.
I found Blanton's at Costco here in NorCal for $43. Limit 1 per.
Wow.
I didn't even know anywhere in the country you could do that.
No kidding.
Blanton's is good, but wouldn't pay over 60 just by
Totally
rare
agree.
breed instead. Oh, 100%. Absolutely 100%.
I genuinely think my number 5 is Blanton's, if I'm honest.
Whiskey War says Old Forester Statesman might also beat Blanton's. My order would probably be number 146, 2 Statesman, 3 Blanton's, 4 Elijah Craig, and 5 Jack Daniels. All right, well, we'll see what our things are here. And in SoCal, Blanton's pretty available. What?
Really?
But not at Costco price, usually around 100. Well,
yeah.
I mean, MSRP on it now is about $68 to $70, and
Everybody wants it. I think everyone should try it.
yeah, sure. And if you just want a bottle, fair enough. Maybe
Yeah.
splurge once, but
Totally.
it's just know that the juice you're getting in the bottle is not.
So this is my number 5. Out of 5.
Would you like a drum roll?
Not especially.
Okay.
And it's either Blanton's or Jack Daniels, and I honestly don't know the difference.
And I have the list right here of what each one is. Yours, you got it. Greg's gonna quit the channel.
I have no strong opinion. Is it really Maker's Mark?
Is there a delay on this? Is it too late to hit the dump button and just cut this part of the show
We're
out?
live.
You're gonna want to do
I
that.
don't care.
This is Maker's 46.
Really?
Unless you screwed up the pouring of these.
Well, that's always a possibility, but that surprises the heck out of me.
Try it again.
I did.
Now knowing what it is. But well, you can always pour more for the blend. Now do you see the Maker's Mark?
Yeah, maybe. But
Okay.
what I thought was Maker's Mark is definitely not Maker's Mark then.
So in last place is Maker's 46 for Greg. All right. Last place for me. I won't do that for all of them. Don't tell me what it is yet. I feel like this might be either Blanton's or Jack Daniels.
Let me look at it again.
I think it might be Blanton's.
Can you turn it over? It's upside down.
You can't read a 1 through 5 number when it's upside down.
You think it's Blanton's?
I think it might be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. No way.
Heaven Hill product.
One of my favorite go-to bourbons. I said earlier in this live stream, if this is Elijah Craig, I'm going to be very upset and quit the channel. Well, you and I, right off the bat, we're off to terrible upsets.
We've both eliminated obvious favorites for each of us.
Huh. So, but again, we did start this off by saying there's not a bad bourbon on here. And even the one I liked the least that just wasn't hitting tonight is still a good bourbon.
Yep.
Totally. For this one, for the Elijah Craig for me, there was like a drop off and it just tasted very dusty, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it wasn't as rich as the other ones.
Yeah.
Like I felt like there was like it was a little shallow, you know?
Yeah.
So, well, that's disappointing. But again, I like all these right off the bat. So, all right, number 4 for Greg.
I don't know where to go with this. I thought this was Statesman, but who knows?
That is Blanton's. So Blanton's coming in second to last.
So I was thinking Blanton's and Jack Daniels and Statesman were kind of in that same range. So that doesn't surprise me a ton, but
God, I don't even know where to go with the guesses. I know if I remember where I put it correctly. I think I know what this one is, and I think I know what this one is. But the other ones now, I'm blown away.
This is difficult.
So I'm just going to throw caution to the wind here and go for a random guess. I'm going to say, I don't really remember what this one tasted like, to be honest. I just know it was like my second last. Let's go Jack Daniels on this one. Number
5.
Oh, it's Blanton's. Okay.
Blanton's.
Truthfully, I was kind of tossing up between Blanton's and Jack Daniels.
Yep, me too.
I was like, all right, let's just go with the.
So that means I really missed.
So we are total failures at guessing these right now.
Well, yeah, this is the hardest thing in the world.
So now I think I'm going to go 3 for 3 on these last ones.
I just served that one up to you on a silver platter.
Oh, that's what she said. Boom.
Yeah, thank you.
Nailed it. That's what she said. All right, hold on a second. Let's check some comments here real quick before we get to let's do number 3 and then we'll use that as a way to build. We'll go to commercial to build the suspense. So number 3,
What have I rolled out? Blanton's and Maker's Mark.
Yep.
Boy, I feel like maybe this could be the Statesman.
All right, let's go. No, it's Jack Daniels. For the love of God, we are embarrassing ourselves on national internet YouTube to 14 people.
Wow. Huh.
Jack Daniels. Well, let me double check that. Let me see it again. It was no, wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, it was. Okay, Jack Daniels. Okay, my number 3 is Maker's 46. Please confirm. Number 3? 3? Is there a 3 in there?
It looks like a C, to be honest with you. But
It's a 3.
Okay.
I did get that one right. All right, I feel like I at least got one of these right. I think I'm going to win this out. But only because I've now ruled out Blanton's and Elijah Craig, because this one would have been tough. But I really feel like I know that one. All right. Before we get to the number 2 bourbon and the number 1, let's check into the chats here.
Someone's talking about Antique 107.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Holy geez, there's been a bunch of them. Louise says, I'm not a huge fan of weeded whiskey. I kind of find that's sort of a thing. Like, we love it.
So I tend to love it, but I cannot pull it out whenever it's in a flight. But I think it's so different.
I can usually pull Makers out, not necessarily all weeders, but usually Makers. You usually can too. You probably have COVID or something.
No, I don't think I do.
OG Brick says, all these are great pours. Whiskey War says, I'm not a huge fan of these, honestly. Louise, same, except for Weller Antique 107. What?
Oh, Weeders, except for 107, yeah.
I think Whiskey Wars was saying he wasn't maybe a fan of most of these.
So we tried to pick some fairly reasonably available mid-90s.
And the wild card.
Yeah, and then Blanton's because it's...
Yeah. You got to throw that in there because it's nice to see how it holds up against other bourbons. It usually doesn't hold up in blinds.
Not compared to other stuff that we compare to.
Stephen John says, is it Jaws? I keep saying Johns because that's what it looks like from here. Bad eyes. Antique 107 is one of my favorite Weller pours. Totally agree. I think both of us.
Yep.
Never had the Antique 107.
It's amazing.
Worth a try. That's one of those ones that's allocated and it sucks because I would always drink that if it was available. Missed out on an Elmer T. Lee. I've never seen one in the wild. Got a Blanton's though. Elmer T. Lee is way overhyped. Get yourself an Evan Williams 1783.
It's a $25 to $30 bottle that is
at best
kind of like swept up in the Buffalo Trace, like
for sure
euphoria, but it's mediocre.
That and Blanton's, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I would just get yourself an Evan Williams 1783. It tastes very similar to me. That's always the one that I say is a good good alternative. Weller Antique 107 beats Weller Special Reserve and 12 full proof. Also good. I've never had full proof. You have a little bit of one left, don't you?
I do.
Full proof. We should try that sometime.
We
should try that sometime. What's the ETL for? Okay, there's another talking to each other. And do a double take. Never seen one under 250. Well, none of them are under 200. Good enough for 250.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not.
Louise says, I've never had Elmer T. Lee either, or our local store had a bottle, but they were charging around 200. Oh, no. Absolutely not even close.
I wouldn't pay $50 for another one, and I have one. But
OG says it's $37.99 in Virginia.
Oh, well.
They had 6 bottles told, and they said they were going to go in 15 minutes. Elmer T. Lee, honestly, of all of the allocated stuff we've had,
it's not horrible. It's just nothing special.
It's absolutely nothing special. And Blanton's isn't either.
It's mediocre. Like, this is genuinely better.
Yeah. And usually I like Elijah Craig better than Blanton's, but today it came in just after the Blanton's.
Yep.
14 people. Tell 14 people to tell 14 people your reps are ruined. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's going to get out. But like I said, I think I'm going to win out for the rest of this. Pouring some of my Blanton store pick in your honor. Cheers. I hope you enjoy it. It came in 4th place for both of us.
So I still have
Ancient Age is there. Ancient Age. I have a bottle of that. We use that as a control bourbon. I'm not impressed with it at all. Could stock up on that stuff. 28, a 175. What does this say? I agree the ETL is overhyped. Tried some at a bar for the first time last week. On par with regular-ass Buffalo Trace. In my opinion, not impressed. Yeah, totally. I don't even think it's nearly as good as regular Buffalo Trace, to be perfectly honest. Okay, so to reveal our big winner, we'll just reveal the number one because then by default we'll know the number two. Are you making a last minute adjustment?
No, I'm not changing.
Okay.
But I do have a whine or a complaint.
Okay.
When I smell out of this one, I get dishwasher. And we know that's from the dishwasher.
Right.
This one, I just get bourbon flavors. And it's very Brown Foreman.
Okay.
I have to be honest.
Oh my God. Is Old Forester going to win this for you?
Like, there's a part of me that it has a lot of sweetness and a lot of character that I think is very much Elijah Craig-like.
Right. So you've got Elijah Craig and Old Forester left.
I do, but there's a little tiny hint.
I've got Old Forester and Jack Daniels left. Are you prepared to learn what your number one winner in the mid-90s proof points is?
I think this is Statesman. I really do.
All right. Let's.
I thought for the longest time it was Elijah Craig, but I really do think it's Statesman.
And this is your number one.
It's my number one.
All right, let's see it. The big reveal. It is Statesman. Old Forester Statesman, meaning your number two bourbon was Elijah Craig.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go Old Forester.
Yeah.
When you guys all make us famous for chiming in on these live streams so much that we just blow up, I'll just auction these off.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. So I think my number one is Statesman as well.
Okay.
I believe this to be Old Forester,
So
which by default this would make this the Jack Daniels.
Oh, the JD.
So this should have a number 4 on the bottom of it. Shoot me if it doesn't have a number 4 on the bottom.
Oh my God. You just rotated it slightly. Like, I am not kidding. From a certain angle with his poor handwriting, it looks like a 5. But it didn't make sense because you've already eliminated blends.
Oh, okay. So
it looks like a...
Oh, that does look like a 5. It looks like an S.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a 4.
My God, that's just terrible.
I think
it looks like a lightning bolt from this angle. But let's double check that. Okay, that's definitely a 2. So Jack Daniels.
Well,
okay.
check your second to last place. Make sure that's a 5.
That's a 5.
Okay.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so I did. So Jack Daniels came in second for me.
Yep. And Old Forester was both of ours.
Well, if you've watched this channel enough, you know that I am the Old Forester truffle pig.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is. I'm not.
Greg is not. So I'm actually shocked because usually the Old Foresters don't do well in your
really thought this was my favorite. But just right at the end, I noticed, and I think I'm blaming a little bit of it on this glass, but
I just can't believe that this came in last, the Elijah Craig. Yeah, it's just kind of it's coming up kind of basic tonight. It's good.
I like it. I mean, Elijah Craig is my second place.
Yeah,
and I'm getting traditional notes, but I definitely get something on the dishwasher note.
I'm gonna have to pour a little bit of this Jack Daniels in here to get a proper Benny Walker special.
Help yourself.
Shredworth, it's a Harry Potter lightning. Put a lightning bolt. That's awesome. For those of you who have watched our videos and live streams before, you know how we do this.
This is the part of the show
where we just take everything we just drank and we blend it all together.
We form a 460-something proof.
Yep. Because what you do is you add all the proofs up. And we got
37 year.
You poured in like a nice amount of pours this time for proof points.
Yeah, sometimes I underpour. Sometimes I overpour, but usually...
I mean, like the remainder of all 5 of them is just a nice pour of whiskey. So let's give this blend a second to marry, and let's check in. So to reiterate, Greg's last place was Maker's 46. 4th place was Blanton's. 3rd place, Jack Daniels Single Barrel. 2nd place, Elijah Craig. And 1st place, Old Forester. Yes. My last place was Elijah Craig.
That's a shocker.
Shocker. This is one that I always recommend as just like a go-to.
Great starting. If you're just getting into bourbon, buy that.
Yep, for sure. And it's still great. It just came in last place tonight against some other great bourbons.
Yep.
4th place for me was Blanton's, same as Greg. So we had the same 4th place. 3rd place was Maker's 46. 2nd place was Jack Daniels Single Barrel, and 1st place was Old Forester. We also agreed on that one as well.
I'm surprised Makers did not do as well for either one of us as it should have.
I was teetering between 2nd place and 3rd place.
Yeah.
I just like. And it was maybe more my mood tonight because I feel like the Maker's Mark in particular as a weeder I feel like it's such a different flavor profile, and I knew what it was. I could tell what it was. I put it there because I just put the traditional bourbon flavor ahead of it. But I love these. I love Maker's Mark, but it is not for everybody. It's definitely a different flavor profile.
It is for everybody.
So, well, I mean, not everybody likes it.
Well, that's just weird.
So, did I stretch for that one?
Yeah, that one was.
That's what she said.
Swing and a miss.
Okay, so let's catch up here. Going age, so the ETL. Steven says, enough of this individual tasting. When are you going to blend them? Well, here we are. This is the blend. So on that note, let's
we think it's about 463 proof.
Because that's what you do. You add all the proofs up, and that's math.
And 37 years.
Yep.
Single barrel, all of them.
Yep, for sure. God, that smells good. It smells like a nice bourbon.
From Buffalo Hill Distillery.
Yeah. All right. Well, cheers.
Brown Buffalo Hill Distillery.
Yeah. Boy, there's so many ways we could go with this.
Because this is kind of Brown Foreman-ish, sort of.
What?
No, isn't it like the same? Like, no, it's Beam.
Oh yeah, I think Beam Suntory.
Suntory, yeah.
I don't know what the deal is with that, because I feel like they own like certain lines of Maker's Mark, but not Maker's Mark itself. Right. It's really weird. I did some reading on it, but anyway, let's try the blend. Cheers! Thank you for joining on the live stream. We're still going to hang out for a while, but thank you for sticking with us so far.
You know, for 463 proof, this actually drinks really, really smooth.
I'm going to quote Bobby. That's good. Go check out Bad X Bourbon.
You need to do it right. If you're going to do anything, do it right.
All right, hold on. Let's see for you. Is it working?
No.
I'm getting like orange Tic Tacs. The mustache is coming off. Blanton's, Statesman, Maker's 46, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel, Elijah Craig. That's good. That work?
That's pretty good.
I feel like it's pretty good. Okay, this is falling off of me. Can you put that back in the fridge?
When you axe the bar, then you're serious.
Yeah, that's the I need to get like an inflatable axe to just do the impression. All right. So there was the blend.
Things
Maker's Mark 46, definitely the best of that group. I would be inclined to agree with you. You know, I was just saying, that's Dr. Travis.
I thought this was going to win.
Yeah,
I really did.
The only reason, I think on certain days, this is the best of the group for me. And on certain days, this is the best of the group for me. Because they both have kind of outlier flavor profiles, but I love the Maker's Mark profile.
And I would have assumed this would have won or this one. These were the two I expected. This one was better than I thought. Blanton's I didn't have high hopes for. While I absolutely love some of the Jack Daniels, this is not my favorite bottle of Jack Daniels that I own.
But it's good. We've always liked
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, totally.
Again, we like all of these bourbons. Yes. So coming in last place in this fight is not an insult to that bourbon for sure. 99 Perspectives said the guys did a review of ETL and weren't that impressed with it. Yeah, so she watches our channel.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, though. I'd buy it for $50 if I could, just to own one. I'm assuming, are you talking about Blanton's or ETL?
That's what she said.
Boy, I don't know about that. I think Statesman would be my favorite, too. Luis, we are birds of a feather. These always win for me. They just always do.
Call them a bird.
Well, I mean, it's a thing, right? When you're alike. Birds of a feather?
You don't know. He could be a rhinoceros or an elephant or a saber-toothed tiger.
Now I feel like you're getting weird.
You just called him a bird.
Statesman, there's the Harry Potter lightning bolt. Statesman is underrated because there's so many other hitters in the Whiskey Row series. Yeah, for sure. I think I've heard mixed reviews. That was Sean from Whiskey Wars. I've heard mixed reviews on the
Isn't there a story?
Statesman. There's it's from a movie. Yeah, it's from the Kingsman Part 2.
Yeah,
I don't know what the actual title is, but
I just saw it on the shelf at
I think it's great.
Where was I? Somewhere in Montana at some liquor store, and just saw it there, and I'd never seen it anywhere else, and I've never seen it again. So I grabbed it. $50-ish.
Oh, here, look. And Steven says, interesting on Statesman. I've heard conflicting reviews of this Old Forester expression. Absolutely, I have too. I've heard very, very different.
So I'm curious about King Ranch as well. Another one that I've never seen, but I would love to pick up.
whiskey, that's how math works. Absolutely. Statesman is a great pour once you get it past the neck and give it a couple months to open up. We have to do another neck pour video. Not surprised about the Blantons. Never seems to do well in blinds. Totally agree. It has never done well in blinds for us.
Not for us.
Greg just did a blind where it was 3 Evan Williams and Blantons, and that was your clear loser out of those.
Yeah,
it really does say a lot. And I think on most channels and most, like I've seen, we're not the only ones where Blantons doesn't do well in blinds. It just doesn't hold up.
But yet,
it's good.
If I were to have a pour of it, like knowing what it was,
yeah.
I would think it's good, and it is.
It's good just like this is good.
I think this is better. But like,
well, in the sense that it's just a good bourbon.
Yeah.
But leave it at that.
But you know, when you compete with some other stuff, and evidently today, this one, like...
Well, all of them except for Makers for you and Elijah Craig for me.
Yeah, this is strange.
Agreed with Whiskey Wars. Oh, 99 Perspective sent us a super chat. Cheers to you. Thank you
so much.
Oh, man, we got tons of it. There's a lot of comments.
Oh.
Buffalo Hillman Mark. There you go. That's the distillery.
Who is that?
Here.
Oh,
that's Whiskey Wars. That's Sean.
That's Sean.
I think Blanton's holds up in a BT blind. It came in 3rd in my flight.
Dude, that's a great idea.
Kosher Rye, Hancock's, and Eagle Rare.
No, I seriously, like I have that, what's that, that yellow bottle from Buffalo Trace. Old Carter.
Old Carter, yeah.
We need to do a Buffalo Trace
Didn't
flight.
we kill that drinking cigars?
No,
smoking cigars and drinking that one night?
There's a little bit left.
Okay.
So
let's put a large dent in that bottle.
Absolutely. We need to do a Elmer T. Lee, Blanton's.
Is Old Carter or
Old
Charter?
Carter.
Is it Carter or Charter? Charter. Because remember in the review, I had to put a thing in there because I kept calling it Old Carter.
That's a different distillery altogether.
Yeah.
Old Charter, Elmer T. Lee, Blanton's. Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare. Yes, there's a couple of different mash bills.
Yep.
But there's some similarities. So I think we do a Buffalo Trace flight and see where
Blanton's
falls in that line.
I would be shocked if it beat Eagle Rare. To be honest.
There's standing here right now, I would say there's no way it'll be Eagle Rare, but I get everything wrong. So.
But the other thing is I'm going to clip that and save it.
Yeah.
The other thing is sometimes it's the order you drink them in. Blind flights are not always the most fair, but when one consistently comes out in favor and one consistently comes out not in favor, then there's something there. And when you can consistently pull one out of a blind, like I can with this,
you clearly pull Old Forester out as your favorite in just about every flight.
Truffle Pig.
Yep. I thought I was a Heaven Hill fan, but even I swung and missed it this one. So who knows?
That was your number 2.
Yeah, I know, but I still missed.
All right, let's see. 463 proof is the sweet spot. Dr. Travis, I could not agree more.
So, like, is that seriously what these all add up to? I totally made that number up.
Probably not. There are so many comments here. I don't even know how to catch up here.
You have to show the inappropriate language.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just had axes for Bad Axe Bourbon.
Who's the axe hole that did that?
Shredword. So when you put axes in your comment on our end, it blocks it and asks us if we want to show it.
Seriously?
So somebody because it's
violence.
An axe, yeah.
Oh.
And if somebody puts a swear word in their chat, it blocks it automatically, and we have to.
Yep.
Good impression. Thank you. I would agree with that. Shred. Blanton's does well against other BT stuff, just not real whiskey. Oh, shots fired.
With the exception of Eagle Rare, which I think is genuinely a really quality whiskey and can compete with anybody.
Yeah. So some of these are talking back and forth. So
that's cool.
Them. Whiskey War says the orange Tic Tac note was spot on. If you ever watched Bobby's channel, then you know it. You know what's up.
I don't know if I've had an orange Tic Tac in 30 years.
ETL makes a great trade bottle. That's absolutely true. If you can buy one,
great observation.
Yeah, if you can buy something like that at MSRP,
is gold.
So, quick story. I bought a Blanton's. I happened to walk into a liquor store. I was talking bourbon with the guy. And he goes, the guy outside that's bringing the booze in right now.
You obviously don't know the definition of quick story because we're nowhere near the middle of this story.
I just got it. I mean, this will be very quick. And he goes, the guy who's bringing in the shipment right now, he's bringing in a whole crate of Blanton's or a whatever. How many? I don't know, 6 at a time or whatever. Mm-hmm. A whole case.
Herd.
Yeah, a herd of Blanton's.
A flock.
He goes, if you want one. And I said, well, how much are they? And he said, $68. I was like, yeah, sure. So I bought it.
Okay.
Because if I see one at MSRP, I'm going to buy it
Yeah.
because of that reason. I personally don't really care about Blanton's, but I traded my Blanton's for a Weller 107, which I love. And the Weller 107 now is MSRPing for like $56. So I maybe paid an extra $15 for my Weller 107. I'll do that any day of the week.
Totally. That's
because it's one of my favorite bourbons. Yeah. So yeah, the trade bottle is great. And then that way, like if you can get it at MSRP and somebody who really wants this has something of equal value that they're willing to trade, then it's a cool, like mutual, nobody's getting ripped off. It's
I was wondering if you were going to go there.
Is that blend kicking in right now? Like,
no, I was going to make an inappropriate comment, but
I just feel like I got the look from Greg, like, having a great time right now.
I'm fine.
All right, so
2.5 ounces of.
I just bought Jim Beam Devil's Cut. Never drank it. What can I expect? Well, Louise Wells, we did Jim Beam Devil's Cut.
But it's easy to find because that's our Halloween episode.
Yes.
Absolutely have to watch that because there's a little skit designed by...
We filmed a horror movie at the beginning of the Halloween episode of our Jim Beam Devil's Cut review.
That's true.
Spoiler alert if you don't want to watch the whole episode or whatever. No, it's all right. It's all right.
It's a decent, everyday, easy to find whiskey.
For the price.
$20-ish type whiskey. It's good.
Yeah, for sure.
But the beginning of that video is pretty freaking awesome. He did most of the work.
Speaking of Bobby, I will be on with him tomorrow, 7:30-ish Eastern, 4:30-ish Pacific. So Whiskey Wars, Sean will be on Bobby's channel.
Nice.
Tomorrow
That dude goes live a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, man, I don't have to work on Friday, so I might harass you guys. Drink some bourbon and start throwing the comments in there. So I should be there for that one. So, yeah, everybody in the chat, go check that out. Those are always fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Want to be clear, I don't think the neck pour is like different whiskey. It's all about the head space in the bottle allowing ethanol to rise to the top. Interesting. But, see, I've never heard that argument for it before.
So I have. And so here's my question to you.
Well, and then he says, then when you open the bottle a month or so later, the ethanol escapes because science.
Okay, fair point.
And blind flights are not science.
But when you drive home on roads that cause the bottle to do this, what does that do to the neck pour?
Well, some people say the neck pour is because it's being exposed to air. And it's like, that before this went into the bottle, it was in a barrel that was dumped into a vat.
Yeah.
Like it's been exposed to air a lot.
But then it's also been agitated and like there is no whiskey up here that's not been, like it's been mixed up.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you drive home, you open it.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as a neck pour. Maybe if you have...
Shots fired.
Yeah, maybe if you have like a unicorn bottle and it sits on your shelf literally for years, maybe.
What we need to do is go buy 2 mid-proof, like 100-proof single barrels of the same barreling.
And not touch one for 12 years and open one right away. And then remember what happened 12 years ago.
I think maybe an easier way would be to open one, try the neck, what we do is we open one, decant it, part of it, and then just leave half a bottle sitting there. And then we compare the half bottle against the fresh cork pop and see if there's a difference. We did this with a bottle of Buffalo Trace,
which is still sitting.
Old. Yeah.
So, well, I'll explain. We're about to do another video in January, and we did this video.
Was that January already?
It was January.
Oh, that's perfect. So that's coming around. Yeah.
So I opened a bottle of Buffalo Trace, and I have like a brand new bottle of Buffalo Trace, one of which I drank down to like almost.
There was barely like this much left in it.
And let it sit for a year. Put a note on it saying, do not open. We did a review. It's the exact same as a new bottle of Buffalo Trace.
Yeah. And you bought them at the same time, so presumably the same case, presumably the same batch, maybe, hopefully.
Yep.
And so, what we did is we came up with the idea in that video, well, let's save the half of what's left of that now for another year.
Exactly.
And then save the other bottle full.
Yep.
And you haven't drank that one?
Nope.
So they're exactly in the same position as they were a year ago.
Right.
I didn't realize that was coming up already.
Yeah.
So now in January, we'll do that video again with the same 2 bottles.
Yes.
But we did take a bottle of Buffalo Trace that had been open for a year, compared it to one that was bought at the exact same time. And there was not a discernible difference between those.
That I could tell.
But
obviously I'm an expert because I freaking.
But you can tell the difference between stuff. You may not guess what it is, but like
exactly.
you could, if you would have poured 3 of those, right? 2 of one of the other. I don't think anybody could have, unless they, out of pure luck, could have picked the two that were different and the one that was different.
Totally agree.
But people swear by the neck pour. So I know we're going to have to revisit it.
Sure.
Let's see. Also, we'll be live Friday night. Okay, so you're back doing the Friday night lives. I like that.
On Sean's channel.
Yep, on Whiskey Wars.
It's Christmas Eve.
Okay, they're talking back and forth. Whiskey Wars says 16 watching, only 9 likes. Come on, fellas, smash the like button. You don't even have to smash it. We've talked about this. You can just give it a little tickle, you know? Give it a delicate rub. We have to stop doing live.
You're just a little too good at that.
Because I know it's a problem. I mean, look at you over there. What happened?
No, nothing happened.
Okay. So cheers, guys. Oh, Mike Meyer's in the house. Cheers, Mike.
We were just talking about Halloween, and
yes, every time he comes in the live, you make a Halloween reference.
Halloween reference. You know, I've still never seen a Halloween movie. I'm not a horror movie fan.
All right, let me just get back to the comments.
Okay.
Louise says you got to go back and watch that. Freaking awesome. Yes, that's going to be a T-shirt. Also, we live Friday. Whiskey Wars, can I hop on right now? We would love to have you hop on right now, but we're just going through YouTube, and I think we have to be going through StreamYard to have people hop on.
Yeah.
And if that's not the case, I have no idea how to.
Yeah.
So if you can send a message letting us know how you can hop on, yes, we would love to have you hop on for sure. But can you do that if we're only broadcasting through the YouTube app or channel,
like
or
webcam?
Whatever.
Yep.
Let's see. Much easier to explain in person. Is that might be from something else?
Uncle Nearest. What's his?
Go grab 2 more Uncle Nearest with the new distillate. OG Brick 420. I actually have both of those. We did a review of these. So this is the old one with the sourced, and this is the new one with the new distillate.
It doesn't say that it's from them. It's worded a little weird.
It's worded the same as it is in the old bottle.
We think it's their distillate, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, that's what I read. But we did just do a review of that like maybe 2 weeks ago or something. So if you haven't seen that video, you can check that out.
And we think the 2 of those bottles are very significantly different, and I really like the new one.
Let's see. Paid $27 for Devil's Cut. I can't go too wrong with that price.
No.
I'm a peat head with Scotch. Okay. Love to find some smoky bourbon. I don't know if that's possible given regulations. So there is
we did a Lefroy tasting.
Right. That was good.
What else do you like besides Lefroy?
Well, he asked about like with the peated bourbon. There is a company, and I cannot for the life of me remember offhand what it's called. But they have basically a peated bourbon.
No, I remember there was a corn whiskey from Scotland.
But there's also a bourbon that does it.
It was a peated bourbon.
Yeah, they've got a series of like all these different kinds. Oh man, I can see the bottle in my head. It's not a very popular brand.
Yeah.
But if I can figure out what it is, we'll send you a message on Patreon. Let's see. Tomorrow will be fun, Bobby. Okay, they're talking back and forth. Cheers, everyone. Northwest Bourbon.
Who's that?
Welcome to the live channel. I'm not familiar with Northwest Bourbon, but anytime I see anybody's got bourbon in the name, I always want to check out, see if they got a channel or something like that. So
I'm guessing he lives in Coeur d'Alene. Maybe Seattle.
In Coeur d'Alene because of Northwest?
Yeah.
I would have maybe just defaulted to Seattle before Coeur d'Alene, but
no.
I mean, that was a nice, obscure, beautiful town.
It'd
be hilarious if he actually lives in Coeur d'Alene.
All right, I want to know. I used to live in Coeur d'Alene. That's why I defaulted to Coeur d'Alene as opposed to Seattle.
All right, bourbon. Oh wait, now I think I do know Northwest. The problem is like I see people on other people's channels, and they're talking like
sure,
like hey Sean, hey Bobby. They're not saying like hey Bad Axe Bourbon, hey Whiskey Wars or whatever. So that's where I get mixed up on channels. All right, we got some chats back and forth. We'll discuss neck pours at another time. Hey, Sean, you know what we should do is, that'd be hard to do that in a like a group live because we'd have to send you something, but then the neck pour would be compromised.
Yeah, it would.
Maybe we'd have to like send a bottle. Like this is a single barrel. Let's send 2 bottles.
Well,
all the science.
We agree to buy the exact same type of bottle, like in every easy to find basic bottle of Jack Daniels. You go to your store, you buy one. We go to our store and buy one. Something like that.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. I suppose the batches are big enough.
You know what we should do? is like we'll have to set this up ahead of time, but have Sean, and it'll be in the summer, do a pour outside, do Bobby in California outside. I forget where Sean's at. And
do you want to rephrase that?
Well, no, yeah, they'll do. We want to taste whiskey outside because Ben has a theory. Yeah.
Bobby already did. Didn't you see Bobby's video to that? Yeah, I put out the challenge to everybody. And I said specifically, does whiskey taste different indoors versus outdoors? And I said, yes. Bobby made a hilarious video. You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, yeah. So he made a video where he's like, Ben from the Bourbon Note says, whiskey tastes different if you drink it in different places. And so he takes a drink of it at his, his normal set that he films on. Okay. And he goes, is it going to taste different when I'm leaning up against this Bad Axe Jeep of mine? And he takes it. He goes, is it going to taste different while I'm holding my dog? And he takes it and he goes all over his house.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
That's a great idea for a video. Someone should do that.
Well, someone already did. That's a great channel. Go check out Bad Axe Bourbon. Let's see. I have no idea how to stream through YouTube. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't either. Honestly, we should probably start doing some of these. We need to StreamYard so we can bring people in.
Yeah, we totally should. That's a good idea.
But yes, anytime we do a live, we'd love to have any of you guys come in here. That'd be awesome.
To be honest, that's a good, we should try to figure that out so that we can have the option to pull people in.
What bottles? Oh, Mike Meyer says, what bottles did Greg win in the lottery a couple weeks ago? I never heard. So I can tell you what bottles I won. I didn't win shit. I haven't won anything in any lottery I've been in yet this year. Take it away, Greg.
So a couple weeks ago, he
won 2. I didn't get a damn thing.
So I got the Maker's Mark BRT02.
And you already had the 01, so that was cool.
So I own the 01. My wife had just picked that up 2 weeks before. So then a couple weeks ago, we did a flight of the BRT 01 and 02 Maker's Mark 2022 limited release. They're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Great video.
The Maker's Mark wood finishing series.
Last year's were only okay. We want to do a flight of last year and this year.
Back and watch that video of us doing a review of them.
I don't know if I believe myself. I don't know if I believe myself.
I mean, that's true. I don't believe you.
And then we have a video that we've not filmed yet of Peerless Double Oak. Is that the one it was? Yeah, Peerless Double Oak.
I'm very excited to try that because we've done some double oaks and it definitely makes a very, very big difference. Yeah. So the Old Forester 1910 is a double oak, but that already has the Old Forester profile.
It does.
We've also done
Woodford is kind of the big one,
but that's also the same kind of profile sort of as the Old Forester, so it's not that much different. And then we did the
Noble Oak.
No, that wasn't double. I don't think that was double oak, but we did the Garrison Brothers Bell Maria.
That's so Texas-y.
Right, but it was so much different than just the regular Garrison Brothers. So I'm excited about seeing a different brand as a double oak. Anytime a new brand brings out a double oak.
And I happen I keep going back to the basic Peerless, whatever it is. I don't even know the proof. It's really good. It's kind of a down the middle basic bourbon, but it's nice.
That was one of the ones that we filmed a review of when we first started the channel that we threw away and never released.
Okay.
So that was one of our practice reviews. Yep. And I remember distinctly we were Big Red Gum Cinnamon. Huh. And it was really good.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in.
So I'll bring the regular Peerless along with that double oak and we'll
for sure
compare.
So I need some whiskey in my glass. What do you guys recommend? What should I grab? In the meantime, whiskey, Sean says, get that like button moist. Yes.
This is what he should be drinking.
Oh, Georgia Moon? I need to fry some Georgia Moon.
Oh, it's probably hard to read on the camera. I don't know.
It's a white whiskey, corn whiskey.
First you swaller, then you holler.
That's what she said. Get that like button moist. Okay, so now I can't tell. Sometimes they're talking back and forth. So
that's okay.
We'll discuss neck pours another time. I have no idea how to stream through. Oh, yeah, we already checked this out. So, yeah, he answered the Mike's question about what bottles he got in the lottery.
Yeah.
Maybe I will talk about neck pours some Friday night. Well, hey, maybe we can join you some Friday night.
Absolutely.
Maybe you and Bobby can talk about neck pours tomorrow night. Peter White's talking to Louise. Ardbeg Point Charlotte is my favorite Isla Scotch. That's or Port Charlotte, I'm sorry. That's one of the ones I've heard about a number of times, and I've never bought a bottle of it.
Everybody talks about it.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I'm intrigued by. And it was actually in that lottery that Mike made reference to that I would have taken the Ardbeg pretty early if I would have had a chance.
Yep.
But I didn't. But I think they're basic, like, I don't know, 8-year, 10-year, 12-year, whatever. That one's pretty easily available, right? It's in just about every liquor
store. And
so
the port charlotte's a little expensive, so it's like, when we're doing this channel, like, we appreciate our Patreon subscribers that help out.
Yeah.
But we spend a lot of money on whiskey, and so sometimes it gets to a point where it's like, I want to spend the $80 on the Port Charlotte. If I didn't do a channel, I probably would, but it's $80 I could spend towards bourbons we've never reviewed before, and then we get reviews out of them. So it's kind of having a channel is a balancing act of how you spend the money on bourbon, because
not going broke.
Yeah, I always want to spend money
and not killing your liver.
Yeah, on getting Knob Creek single barrels and rare breeds, because I always want them on my shelf. But then when I run out, I go to spend $50 on a bottle. It's like, man, there's $30 and a $25 bottle we haven't reviewed yet. I end up buying those instead. So it's kind of hard to keep some of those on the shelf.
Totally agree.
So Whiskey Wars. Let's see. Hold on a second. Later, guys. Got to head out. Great show, fellas. Cheers. Thank you, Sean. We appreciate you being in here. Sir Cut says, High West Campfire, which we have done a review of a while ago.
Love it. That's the one that's a blend
it's
of
a bourbon
the Stranahan
and peated Scotch blend. No, it's not Stranahan. The Stranahan is the tin cup. You love the tin cup 10-year.
I do.
It's actually a peated Scotch blend of bourbon and rye.
Peated.
Also,
I'm gonna go home and try that.
Has a High West double rye that was finished in Scotch barrels. Smoky. That's interesting.
Who's?
Mark is the man. He does have a channel. Check him out later. Okay, yes, I will definitely check out the channel for sure. And I've probably already seen it. Like I said, I just don't know him by the actual name. Peter White. That sounds great. All right, I never did this. Yeah, Whiskey Wars. You have to do the outside bourbon thing. All right. God, there's so many comments. It's great. Buzzard's Roost and Lot 40 Cask Strength also have peated rye. Interesting. That'd be interesting.
But peated rye. I've got to look into peated bourbon, peated rye, because I didn't know they existed.
Peter White says, I struck out for Michter's 20-year today in the LCBO Ontario lottery. Expected though. Man, that's a bummer though. I mean, no matter how, it's kind of like buying a lottery ticket.
Are you in California or Canada?
Well, he said Ontario. Okay, so is there an Ontario, California?
Okay. Yeah, it's a thing.
There's probably an Ontario, lots of places.
Yeah,
Isn't there like a
Paris, Texas?
Well, there is a Paris, Texas. There's a Minneapolis, Kansas.
There is.
Yeah.
The Metropolis.
Weirdest thing to name your city, like Minneapolis, like that's not even.
There's a Wyoming, Minnesota. That one annoys me.
There is. Yeah, there's also a Virginia, Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly.
BRT 102 just dropped in SoCal and was able to pick up bottles. Waiting to try and compare the FAE 102. So yeah,
that's the flight I want to do.
Yeah, so that's going to be an upcoming video. We just haven't filmed yet because we didn't want to do the makers BRTs. We just did a review of those. We didn't want to do them too close together.
Yep.
So within maybe the next month, or so, we'll get around to doing that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Meyer says, I got skunked in the lottery too, but only had a couple of tickets. No big deal. Good cause. Congrats, Greg. I'm still looking for the BRT 02 myself. Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't get anything from that lottery, but, all the proceeds went to a good cause. Is for like Toys for Tots and things like that. Making sure kids get gifts for Christmas this year. So
totally agree.
Can't feel bad about that, Yeah. All
right.
I'm going to grab a pour of something. Nobody has mentioned anything that I should grab a pour of. You know what I'm actually going to go for? Speaking of the Wright County Whiskey Club, I'm going to crush a little bit. This is Stellum Store Pick, the Wright County Whiskey Club, 118.48 proof.
So that's another whiskey I want to buy, is just the basic
Stellum. The regular Stellum, because we've never owned one of those.
This is a special bottle or a special barrel that they picked.
You want some of that?
Freaking amazing.
I was just, damn it, you beat me to it. I was going to say, would you describe it as in a particular way? Maybe say something that could end up on it. And he said it. Like
it's never occurred to me that I've used that phrase until now.
Now
I'm self-conscious.
Oh, don't be self-conscious. Own it. Like I own the snivs.
You own the snivs.
I own the snivs. There, another t-shirt. Boom.
I own the snivs.
All right. All right, we're all caught. Oh, no, we're not caught up on comments. You guys are just crushing it tonight with the comments.
So who's Peter White?
Yeah, I don't think I don't recognize Peter White from the chat. We've had a couple of new people in, so thank you very, very much for joining us. That's awesome. Anytime we get new people in the chat.
Toasted graham cracker, cinnamon graham cracker crunch cereal.
Nice oak notes. This is like it's
Maybe
that
cinnamon toast crunch
5-year
cereal?
MGP at that mid hundreds point. It's just great. It's like the what is
It's
it? Doc Swinson's.
Oily, cinnamony, nutty.
Anyway, so Port Charlotte is better price option.
Wait,
than
hold on.
Octomore. Okay.
What about Northwest? Did we ever discover Northwest? Is he from? If he's from like Kansas or something, then he's just geographically challenged.
No, he says Canada.
Like Northwest, like territories?
Oh no, that was somebody else. That was the Northwest.
Yeah, Northwest Bourbon.
No, this is Peter White who said he was in Ontario. He's in Ontario, Canada. So
okay.
hey, all of you 17 people that are in the chat right now, drop us a little chat and let us know where you're at. Full address so we can send you stuff.
Well, not
No, just tell us generally where you live.
Yeah.
If you want to include the city, fine, but you know where you're at, because we're always interested in that, like where people are in the country. That's always fun to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, Louise says, I think it's a great thing for you to review whiskey that I can get and that I can afford. Good on you. You know, that's kind of been one of the things.
That's
like,
kind of that's our gig.
Yeah, we try to do things that are available. Like we'll do a special one once in a while. You know,
like.
Yeah, for New Year's last year, we busted out the old Rip Van Winkle.
But we tend not to talk about stuff like this. We talk about stuff like this and like this because it's available. And quite frankly, in a blind flight, this may not win. It may, but who knows?
I got to tell you, though, once you get in that upper aged, upper proof mash bill 3, they are pretty damn good.
They are, but...
Northwest Bourbon says, in regards to double barrels, Woodinville, that's a distillery we haven't, like a brand we have not explored, and I almost bought one the other day, and I can't remember what I bought instead. Woodinville double barrel, Heaven's Door double barrel. We have done that, and the Elijah Craig Toasted are all good. We've done the Elijah Craig Toasted too.
He did not like Elijah Craig Toasted.
It grew on me.
To be honest, we've done several toasted barrels now.
Peter White's in Canada. Okay. Sir Cuts, he says Buffalo, Minnesota. A little Canada, Sir Cuts. I know he's a Minnesota guy, so there is a little Canada, Minnesota. Did you know that?
I did know that. Yeah,
just in the metro, north of the metro area. Daniel H. sort of met Greg at the Wright County Whiskey Club raffle. He was not drinking bourbon. # disappointed. Thank you, Daniel H., for bringing that to my attention.
There was a dude,
I am the HR of the Bourbon Note, and this will be dealt with handily.
So there was a dude that walked by, and I'm guessing this is Daniel, who said, like, and tonight we're not drinking bourbon or something like that. And the truth is, I don't like to drive, and it was snowing, and I have lots of excuses.
Oh, you were driving that night?
Well, it was in Monticello.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I assumed maybe Leah came with you.
No, I was by myself.
Oh, well, then that's, if there's one thing that we don't condone over not drinking bourbon, it's drinking and driving. So, don't ever do that.
So I was drinking water, I will admit. It goes against the brand, but I try to be safe.
Yeah. Hey, we will put not drinking and driving over the brand any day of the week. That's funny that he just walked by and said something.
No, but
you didn't actually get to talk to him and
So I was talking to Bob, another guy who's on the chat occasionally, and so he just kind of walked by and said, "And tonight we're drinking bourbon or something like that, or you should be drinking bourbon." So he obviously recognized me. Thank you so much for watching, and but then he kept walking.
World-renowned bourbon reviewer,
well,
and
obviously,
internet sensation, Greg Welch.
I'm 0 for like a million now, but
have you noticed though that I've been calling you that the entire time we do the channel?
Well, you should see what I call him.
Every time I refer to you, it's always world-renowned bourbon reviewer and internet sensation Greg Welch.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway,
freaking amazing.
Well, anytime you see Greg engaging in any other shenanigans in public, please let me know.
Occasionally walk through a liquor store looking for new bourbons that I'm usually disappointed by their selection, but.
Oh, Luis Wells says he's 16 miles from Minneapolis, Kansas. What are the odds of that?
You're kidding.
That we talked about that tonight.
So, all right. I don't want to go there.
I really like Stellum Rye. Bourbon is just okay, in my opinion, Peter White says. We've never had... so we've only had that store pick. So I would like to explore all of those.
So I'm curious, do you like other ryes? And where I'm going with this is a bunch of the like Wild Turkey, Elijah Craig, Who else? A lot of bourbon distilleries do ryes, but we feel like they're kind of baby ryes, where they're just like 51% rye and 49% like, corn, maybe some malted barley.
For sure.
So are you a big like high rye fan or the rye bourbon kind of mix kind of style?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because we've had some of those, and we're not like, we're bourbon fans before we are rye fans, but we're still rye fans, but we tend to like those lower rye ryes.
Yeah. Like the Elijah Craig rye or the Wild Turkey 101 rye is awesome.
Sir Cut says, at first I didn't find Stellum special at all. After giving it a few weeks, it really opened up the flavor. Special bottle. All right, cool.
It's an MGP. $60, 6-year-ish.
Northwest Bourbon says we're in Washington State. So you guys have, from what I could tell, I stopped into a Fred Meyer somewhere outside of Seattle, and they just Eagle Rare sitting on the shelf for $32.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen a lot of like Eagle Rare sightings in Washington. Daniel H is in Otsego, Minnesota. That's awesome.
That is.
You guys have got a great Coburn's out there. I love stopping into that Coburn's.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm guessing he is in Spokane Valley.
You think so?
I think so.
99 Perspectives is laughing at Daniel. What was he drinking then?
It was water. I'm boring. I apologize.
Sir Cuts is in Minneapolis. We did know that.
Yep.
Sir Cut says, water, my star. He's disappointed.
I apologize.
But again, it was because he was driving. That's a valid excuse.
In a snowstorm. Thank you very much.
If you ever see Tails End 10-year, I think he means Trails End. I've heard of that. 10-year bourbon, 105, finished in Oregon oak. Do not hesitate. Just buy it. Best double oak bourbon for the price, in my opinion. I mean, do
you mean Wilderness Trail? Tails End?
I think I've seen something called Trails End.
Yellowtail?
I couldn't miss the brand mark on his chest. Yeah, Daniel H says I couldn't. Yeah, because you were wearing a Bourbon Note shirt. I'm sure.
So I'm always uncomfortable with that because I like when I go to Wright County whiskey stuff. Like I'm there to support the club, But honestly, I don't actually own a lot of stuff that doesn't have Bourbon Note on it anymore.
At this point, I don't either.
It's been like 2 years.
Yeah, and just every T-shirt we buy, we slap a Bourbon Note logo on it.
I really do.
And honestly, Greg designed a banging Bourbon Note logo here. So
worked out well,
why wouldn't you want that on a shirt? And if you want shirts, you can go to our merch store.
Yeah, there's probably a link in the description below or something where you can go to the store.
Daniel H says, I enjoyed the Benchmark Expressions review. Thank you for that. We're actually, so the Benchmark we did for Christmas last year.
Yeah, tell the story.
And so when we did it last year, those were only available in Indiana.
Correct. And you had a friend.
Yep. As my daughter went down there for a wedding and she picked all those up. And you don't
consider her a friend?
Well, she's my daughter. I'm one of those parents where she's a daughter first and a friend second.
Okay.
But so she picked up all those bottles and we did a review, but back then they were only available in Indiana.
Okay.
And it was the first video that we ever filmed like a skit.
Yes.
Yeah. So we did like a Gremlins skit because it was the Christmas video. And so on Christmas, this year on Christmas Eve, we're going to re-upload that video because I realized that like when we get new subscribers, like back then we had like 80 subscribers.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a new channel.
And I don't expect everybody to go back 250 reviews in our catalog to check out all of our stuff. And now those benchmarks are also available in more states and they're starting to pop up. So we figured, well, it's Christmas. Let's re-release that. We'll get the skit out there again. The other thing is in the original video, we had a copyright claim. And I found a way around that, so I can re-upload that.
So he used some music that was not public domain, but this time
it was
cheated the system.
Yeah, I just added the sound effects of gremlins yapping in the background, and it threw off the YouTube,
so maybe
reading the music thing just enough that.
So that's all we have to do is anytime we want to play music,
we just have to add stuff to it.
Gremlins or a jet flying by or whatever. Okay, that's all right.
Throws the whole thing off.
Science.
Sir Cut says 95 fives are nice and spicy. Yes, they very much are. I've got a couple of ryes here that are in that category. Peter White says I have around 80 bottles of rye, 51% barely legal to 100% rye. They all work for me. That's kind of how we are for bourbon.
Yeah, I would say that's our perspective.
Oh, 99 Perspectives is throwing another dollar our way. She's kind of like making it rain. Drip, drop, drip, drop. And she's throwing those dollars at you.
Obviously, it's been a good week. Thank you so much.
It's gonna be a good week. All those dollars getting thrown at you. Many good ryes, but currently liking Frey Ranch rye. I've never had that either, and I've heard of it.
I've never heard of it.
What are each of yours unicorn bottles? Daniel White asked that.
Unicorn. I wonder what my definition of unicorn is.
So that's a great question because there's a ton of them. Of course you want to get all the bourbons, but
the bottle that I really want to own, and it's not the most expensive bottle ever. Like I generally do not care about Pappy 15, 20, or 23. I would pay a couple $100 for them.
Yeah,
but never any more than that.
You're more buying. They are good. Don't get me wrong; they're great. I was lucky enough at my cousin's house. Her husband had a bottle of Pappy 15, so we did
humble brag.
Did have a taste of it. It was great, but
I want to own the Weller CYPB. That one I want to own, and I'd pay a couple $100 for it.
Just because
I just want to,
you just want it,
and my expectation is probably way higher than the quality of the bourbon.
Probably.
But Weller is hit and miss.
And sometimes there's just that bottle that you just want. It doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter if it's the greatest bourbon ever. It's like, you know what? I just want it on my shelf.
I also want a Jack Daniel's Sinatra.
Oh, they had those in Monticello for the longest time.
It's not. Yeah, you're right. I've seen dozens of them on the shelf. I've had opportunity to buy one.
And they're like $200, aren't they?
I had an opportunity to buy one at like $160.
Yeah. And I think what they do with that is they take the barrels and they just scratch them a little bit, and then they pour the whiskey in there. And it's like there's more barrel.
But I missed out, and I maybe have like.
I will check the duty freeze for you.
That's a good idea.
If I see one for less than $200, you want me to just buy it?
Totally.
Just buy it.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yep.
No need to call you.
Yep.
Okay.
I absolutely would buy it.
So my unicorn bottle, I really would like more Coy Hill. The Jack Daniel's Coy Hill. I do have one.
Or they have another one, like a double.
Yeah, but that's a single malt, and
not that one. Yeah,
I don't get as excited about single malts. So I have one of these. I would definitely always love another one of those.
Totally agree.
I know there's other ones, and I can't think of right now. The newest expression of the George T. Stagg. I actually got to hold one of those 2 days ago. It's the highest proof they've had in like 6 years. It's like 137.
Well, they didn't do one last year.
Right.
Well, so you would expect it to go up in proof.
So it's the new one this year. And I got to see one and hold one.
Gently.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at it and wish and hope that someday I can get that in a lottery. But, to be honest, like, I don't know. I mean, there's so many different like bourbons out there that you don't even know about that are,
Like, I would love the Evan Williams 12-year. Is that the...
Yeah, or the 23-year. That'd be another one.
That would be crazy. But
yeah. But just to own it. Like, that would be one of those ones that's like $300, but just to have it.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Weller CYPB. It's like, I don't have any reason that this is going to be any better than any other bourbon. But I just want the bottle.
Yep.
And I don't have to explain that to you. It's like,
totally.
I just want it, and that's that.
Yep.
So everybody, hey, put in the chats, what are your unicorn bottles? Because that's a great question. Because everybody's is different. Like, of course, we all want a Pappy if we can get one. You saying you don't want one? I
would not pay over.
No, I'm just saying if you could get one.
Like, okay, Pappy,
like you're buying that bottle every day at MSRP.
So here's my concern.
Or in a lottery.
We did the Lot B, and admittedly, recently it did score first place in our 90 proof for each of us.
It was really good.
But the first time I had it, I thought it was overaged. Like I got like this, like it's too old. And so I really worry about the 15 and 20-year Pappies being just way too over oaked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, having never had it, that's my assumption.
The other thing is like Eagle Rare 17. And I have had that before. I got a pour of that out at Brick and Bourbon.
I saw a bottle of it.
It was really good.
$13,000.
No, that was the double.
Oh,
Eagle,
the double Eagle
very
Rare.
rare. Yeah. By the way, that was just on Facebook. Somebody in some whiskey group, maybe the Wright County whiskey group even, posted a picture of that. And I think it's the same place that you were at. It looks
Bozeman, Montana.
It might have been.
Yeah,
do you still have the picture? Because we have to compare these. Because it was the same price and everything, and it looks, from my memory, like the picture you sent me. So I wonder if that person was in the same.
Bozeman, Montana. Bozeman.
So anyway, like Eagle Rare 17, double Eagle, very rare, of course. But I wouldn't pay $2,000 for it, and that's what an MSRP is for, you know. William LaRue Weller, I have heard, is one that's worth chasing.
Supposedly that's like the best.
Yeah. But Jack Daniels is coming out with some great, I think they're kind of like throwing their hat into the ring for like allocated whiskeys. Russell's 13. I did have a pour of that out at Tim's house. And it was great, but I would love to own a bottle of that. Any of the Wild Turkey Master's Keeps,
Yep.
If I get a chance to probably buy one, I do have one of them on the shelf, and it's excellent. Let's see what if anybody's putting their unicorn bottles in. One last lottery question from Mike Meyer. Does Greg remember the top 3 to 5 bottles chosen? Just interested to see what people picked.
The top 3 to 5. So the first place was that Old Fitz 17 year.
Of course. I mean, that was going to be the first one for sure.
The number 2 was a...
Elijah Craig 18?
No, those were like 20th.
Really?
Like they were there for so long.
Okay.
Smokehouse was number 2.
Oh, yeah. A Smoke Wagon.
Smokehouse. Yeah.
Yeah, they had that. Was a super rare, limited bottle. Yeah.
And then I don't remember was like number 3. I don't remember.
Too much dead space for a live stream.
Yeah.
So, Louise Wells says, my unicorn for my area is a bottle of Shelter Point.
Never heard of it.
I won from Trenny and C. So that's the unicorn bottle that you own. But what's the unicorn bottle like if you could own something?
Old Fitz, CYPB, and I think Joseph Magnuson was another one that went very early in that auction. There were 2 bottles of the cigar blend.
Jonathan Rowe said Ben drooled over it. I'm not quite sure what that means. Were you at the whiskey auction? Are you from around here? He also says the Stag. Oh, he's talking about me. God, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Yes, I did drool over that George T. Stag.
Yeah, so there was also...
Thank you for clarifying that in the next...
Yeah.
The thing is, we talked about this last time we did a live. Like, we'll ask a question, and then we go back a few minutes later to the comments, and I don't remember it. Like, and so we're trying to catch up. It's like, okay, what are they talking about? And it's like, oh, yeah, that should have been obvious. Mike Myers, Daily Things.
So I think there were 2 bottles.
Cigar blend. Yeah, I wanted one of those.
Yep.
Peter White says my 2 top bourbons I would like are KOK and Lucky 714 year. What's the KOK?
King of Kentucky?
Oh, King of Kentucky. Yeah, you're probably right. Steven says WLW for
William
me.
LaRue.
Yeah, William Lou Weller. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Michter's 25 year. That would be a
there was also a Michter's something, and I have to admit, I don't understand Michter's, and I've had a couple, and I wasn't impressed, so I kind of ignore them. So
I remember this vividly. It was one of our early reviews before we had like the red and blue lights,
sure.
and because it was the first time I ever cut in like a clip from a movie. You said on the Michter's, just the regular Michter's bourbon, that it kind of gave you notes of a wet dog. Huh. And I had to cut in like a car going off a cliff. And then it was John Malkovich, like, what the are you talking about? So I have memories of that.
So I'm just not the Michter's fanboy, I will admit.
Unicorn is Basil Caribbean Reserve Rye. I want a backup bottle so bad.
Is that seriously?
Are you being serious about that? Because I've seen that in a bunch of places.
No, is that a real thing? I'm assuming he's referring to Basil Hayden.
The Caribbean
Reserve Rye?
Oh, yeah. Actually, you know what? We were just talking about that up at...
I really need to write somebody and find out how I become a actual Basil Hayden ambassador. Because
I said that you could be talking to that.
I like Basil Hayden. Like I like.
Wait, am I having a brain malfunction? Jonathan Rowe, that's not JT.
No, I don't think so.
Because I was just talking to JT and Alyssa up at Spirits, best liquor store in Minnesota.
Totally agree. Melrose, Minnesota.
Melrose, Minnesota, and they were saying the same thing, that the Basil Hayden Caribbean Red, they're like, and they know their bourbon, both of them.
Totally.
And they were saying it was just outstanding, and I've seen that a bunch of times, but it was like 2 years ago, and apparently it was like a limited release thing, so I don't know if they're still around anywhere.
Huh.
But that could have been, because Jonathan Rowe is not JT, because I remember Jonathan Rowe from our previous things. I remember JT from our previous things. This gets confusing with all the screen names and stuff like that. Mike Meyer says, my unicorns are probably the B-Tax. Just love the iconic bottles, I guess. You know what, man? You're not alone. I mean,
you're not alone, unfortunately.
We're also susceptible to the B-Tax. Do you want another pour or something?
No, I'm good.
Michter's 20 is another one for me. 15 years great. Mine would probably be WLW. That's Randy Burnham. Are you a new feller in the chat? I don't think we've seen you in our previous chat, so welcome. Sir Cut says, I missed out on an Old Fit 17 in a raffle. Yeah. Bummed like no other. Were you at the Wright County Whiskey raffle? I love Old Forester Birthday Bourbon. Had a few different years and have loved it. That's Daniel H.
Another person, I know someone else who really likes Birthday Bourbon. I've never actually had it, but that's another that people talk about as just an absolute amazing bourbon.
Daniel H says, oh yeah, that smoke wagon was picked by my neighbor. Sorry, I was drinking bourbon. So we got to get to know Daniel H's. Hey, Daniel H, tell your neighbor that, we've got a bourbon channel over here in Buffalo.
That's right.
Sir Cut says, I don't think I'd drink the Michter's 25. Why wouldn't you drink the Michter's 25? But I could use that to trade a lot seeing the $16,000 secondary. Okay, now I get why you wouldn't. Jonathan Rose says, yes, it is.
So
that JT. Is JT? Am I confusing JT with a different Jonathan in our chats?
I don't remember.
Because every time he shows up, I was like, hey, what's up, JT? Because we have another Jonathan that shows up in our chats fairly frequently.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just having a brain fart. Sorry, JT. I apologize for that. But I did recognize that because I remember a conversation 2 days ago that we were talking about that. Isn't Basil Hayden the same mash bill as Old Granddad? Yes, it is, Louise.
Is it the same mash bill exactly? Because
yes, it is. And Old Granddad is exponentially better.
But it's
the Old Granddad bonded and 114. The regular Old Granddad's not as good.
But it's more cinnamon forward than I feel. Like I need to compare.
It is. That's the thing. Like I don't know. It's weird.
The additional proof really helps it then.
JT says, and the Basil Hayden Reserve Rye was like candy.
I skipped that one. I haven't bought that one. I have all the other.
So now if I see that, I'm going to have to pick it up.
Yeah, me too.
Because I trust JT's opinion on bourbon.
Yeah.
Randy Burnham says he was at the raffle. That's
cool.
Awesome.
They made fun of me because I had a bag when I was there. I took the bag. I was assuming I was getting bottles for me and bottles for you, but you failed.
I failed miserably. Mm-hmm. JT says no problem. Yeah, why was I confusing with another? Because we have another Jonathan that shows up in the chats a lot.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And so, yeah, anyway, sorry about that, man. So we were just talking. The other thing is, so I got to go up there and they have a few Knob Creek store picks left. And their Knob Creek store picks, JT was telling me, are from the same warehouse and basically location as where they get the Bookers from.
Oh.
So for $49.99, if you can make your way to Melrose, go get one of those. So JT, by the way, you said you're moving to the cities. So are you going to work at a different liquor store now? Is there going to be like some competition there? Or what's going on there? I mean, hopefully you still stay in the chat because I'd love to stay in contact with you. So yeah, let us know. Sir Cuts, I like what Wright County Whiskey Club has been doing. Yeah, they've been doing awesome stuff. Daniel H says, there is this tasting of the Wright County Whiskey Club at Seago chapter next week. Good chance Smoke Wagon will be making an appearance. Wait, we haven't heard about that yet.
Otsego chapter? ?
Isn't that Sherburne County?
Yeah.
A.
And B, there's a January 13th event that I'm scheduled to go to. I paid money for. That's at St. Michael. But I don't know about
What is that one? I'm totally behind in all this stuff.
No, there's a normal with Tim.
Okay.
Of tasting.
But it's in St. Michael, not Monticello.
Yeah.
Or did you just screw that up?
No, it's in St. Michael at like the City Hall.
Oh, okay.
Somewhere.
Oh.
Anyway.
I'll go to that for sure.
But I'm curious about this Otsego.
Yeah, tell us more about that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Someone
commented that Greg brought a purse. I said, no, it's a satchel. Did you bring a purse? Go get it. He's got it here. I can vouch for him as much as I want to just shred him on the internet right now and say it's a purse. It's actually it's a bottle. bag.
It's a bag that you
Yeah.
put bottles in. And
Yeah.
the reason was I was Ben's proxy.
Yes.
And so he gave me a list.
I was traveling at the time.
And I was hopeful I was going to carry home 4 bottles. I did not leave with 4 bottles. I left with 2.
Well, show them the reason for this is that it's got dividers that are padded, so you can put 6 bottles in there, and then you don't have to worry about them breaking. So, thank you for saying it's a satchel, but yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to just shred him for carrying a purse, but
I rarely.
In all honesty, I can't. I got to take his side on this one. As a guy and as his friend, I want to just, malign you right now. But
I appreciate your conundrum.
Yes. All right. So at some point here, we're going to need to cut this live stream off. We're at
I have to get up in a few hours and actually work.
damn near 2 hours. So why don't we just go through the rest of these chats, and then if you guys want to throw anything in the next maybe 5 minutes or so.
Did we ever figure out where people are from?
That's what I was just going to say. Like, people didn't put where they're from. Well, a couple people did, but so yeah, let us know. Daniel A says it's a secret chapter. Okay. What do we have to do to get into the secret chapter here? I will be doing insurance, but we'll stay in the chat. Awesome, JT. We want you to stay in the chat for sure. And good luck with your future ventures. That's awesome.
Yeah, totally.
Inside joke with Tim and me. Okay. Randy Burnham says, I won nothing. Laughed after when I watched the randomizer video on Facebook, and the next day I stopped at the video at the bottom, and there was my name. So did your name get picked? So what did you see the next day? Like, you saw your name get picked, or you just saw your name close to it? Mike Meyer says, I might have to attend the lottery next year and book a Monticello hotel room.
Totally.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it was a nice place. It was way crowded. I should have got there an hour
earlier. Yeah,
it's at
Nordic Brewing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Totally should have got there, got a table, ordered food, and just been way more. I showed up. I mean, I was still 45 minutes early, but the place was packed. Like, they had a private room, but it was a big room. And
it's a huge room. Yeah. They usually have live music in there and stuff. But yeah, it's a great place. And yeah, go out there, have some drinks, make a night of it. They've got decent hotels in Monticello. They've also got some, lower price, kind of like dead hooker motels. So yeah, I mean, you got options, You
had to go with the dead hooker.
You always go with the dead hooker.
That's the 4th video in a row we've had a reference to I'm kidding.
Now, we did talk about a dead body in our last review. I'm surprised nobody commented on that. Did you notice that? Because I was telling you the story about going to Bismarck and bourbon hunting. And you're you're not going to bring up the thing. And I was like, the dead body at the hotel room. And I was like, no, I won't bring it up. But nobody asked, what's with the dead body? That was a real thing. There's a dead body at my hotel room.
And then we will not
definitely not trying to conflate that with the dead hooker thing. No disrespect.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there. Yeah. You made reference to another inappropriate thing in our Maker's Mark flight recently that we don't need to talk about.
Oh, the difference in taste between the American virgins and French virgins. There we go. Bam, I got it out. I noticed you tried to step on my line with that just to keep it clean, but I got it out here in the live stream. So, boom. All right, let's get ready to shut this bad boy down. We've been going for almost 2 hours now. So, let's see. Okay, Mike Meyer. Totally looking for the dead hooker motel room right now. Yes, get in that. I think they used to have a Super 8 out there that seemed fairly dead hookerish to me. I own three motels in Monticello, gents. No dead bodies for at least 3 months. Wow. What are the odds of that, me making reference to dead hooker hotels in Monticello? Oh, I will say I haven't stayed in Monticello. Ever. Actually, I've only stayed there once.
I never have.
But I remember back when we were this is probably 20 years ago. There was a hotel out there that was kind of like a dead hookerish motel. Okay. Cheap. But yeah, they've got some nice ones now.
Oh, okay.
But so yeah, I mean, my dead hooker motels, I'm just backpedaling at this point. He says, Daniel H, sign me up. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
We should do an event next year. That sounds freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. So he lives in Otsego, owns hotels in Monticello. You should actually talk to the Wright County Whiskey Club about doing if they.
Well, he's a member. He knows Tim. We know this.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. So why don't you work that up? Well, over the next year, we'll just build up the Wright County Whiskey Club on our end as much as we can. You guys build it up on your end.
Yeah.
And then you can do a whole thing, hotels available and stuff like that. And if you want to throw a dead hooker in there,
no dead hookers, none at all.
I mean,
No.
maybe one dead hooker. All right. That's the sign we need to just bail on this. Louise Wells, again, thank you for joining the Patreon. We're happy to have you. Your name will be in the credits. Maybe a couple, maybe not after the holidays, but a week after that, because we've edited some videos to get through the holidays, so we can not worry about that. It says, thanks, guys. This was great. Daniel H says, bourbon and barbecue event. That would be awesome.
Oh
Sign me up.
God. I'm there that day.
Mike Meyer says, cheers, guys. All right, so we will see you. When's the next live stream? I suppose maybe next week. We'll probably do one, hopefully.
Next week or two.
Yep, so tomorrow, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you already know, and you're already watching it, there's a Caribou Crossing review, and then
otherwise known as the Canadian
Blanton's. And then after that, on the following Monday, we have Wilderness Trail Bottled and Bond, which is great. Oh, spoiler alert. Still go watch the video.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll do a live stream after that. So in the meantime, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you guys very much for all your support this year.
Totally.
Hopefully we'll see you again before. Well, we'll definitely see him before the New Year.
I think so.
Maybe try to do like a New Year's episode. We did the Christmas one with the Christmas lights. So yeah. So anyway, thank you guys very much. Merry Christmas to you and all your families. Have a safe and wonderful holiday season. And we will see you guys next Wednesday for a live stream, hopefully.
Until next time. See you next time.
I mean, if you're going to say that, I got a point.
Hit the button. We're going to hit the button. Hit the button.
All right, we've hit the button.